Hey everybody, it's Clear8 here, and I have a Nioh video showing of a very difficult battle that I encountered on the meeting on the other shore. So this is my gear that I was using. I basically had a full red demon armor set up, and I used dual swords throughout the entire playthrough. They're just my style. I never used any other weapons, so I didn't respec my character or anything. I wanted to beat these guys using the character that I did throughout the entire game. So I found these guys a lot more harder than the two samurai guys because these were the last ones that I needed to do. Now, what I did in my other video, I had shown that the two samurai guys I took on basically at the very end of the story, and I managed to get them. It wasn't that hard, but these guys are something I actually needed to go into New Game Plus and get better gear, and then come back as, like I said, the full red demon armor that you see here. Now, how I managed it was basically using a lot of magic. I did some self boosts here, so I basically get myself some regen health and better defense. I figured out that if you could cast on her, it won't actually start the fight. So I sent a sloth and a lower attack for her. But the second you cast on Oda, it will start the fight. So I lowered his defense, and I tried to hit a sloth on him here now, but I didn't. I missed it. I was an idiot. So I still got in a few fights in him, but if you hit sloth on both of them at the very start, it should make it a good bit easier. Now what you want to do is you want to separate these two bosses here, because the Ice Queen is basically slow by herself either way, and when she's like sloth, she's not going to be an issue. You need to do as much damage to this guy within these kind of 30 seconds as possible. Usually I would have him like half bet within the health, but you can see here 30 seconds have gone by and he still don't have any health down. So I basically resorted a lot to using a gun. If you can get a headshot on him, you'll basically be able to have a stab opportunity. I didn't get the opportunity here, but you will see it later on in the videos. At this point, if you can, try hit sloth on him. As you can see, I just cast it there. What I managed to do was I figured out I wasn't doing any damage to him whatsoever here. In normal fights before this, I did a lot more damage. So I switched over to the hand cannon here basically, and that does a lot of damage if you can shoot it on him. So my strategy was basically to shoot him with a hand cannon whenever he did that kind of move to switch his elemental damage, and if you could in between the breaks get an odd slice off him, just like this. But also try use the time in the breaks to cast either the lower defense or the sloth maneuver again. Always be careful for the projectiles. I think they're the worst thing about the Ice Queen. They're the only real threat that she has besides from running up on you. And if you ever get them in a headshot, like I said, you can run up and do a stab maneuver here. But I think the hand cannon made a massive difference to this fight here. Lowering his defense here and shooting with a hand cannon took 3,500 damage off him. For me, and this was the same hand cannon that you get at the very start or at the very end of the game for passing the last boss. So it's not a special one of extra damage that I had actually went out and gotten. So the best tips for this fight is basically you have to get Oda by himself, separate from the Ice Queen, because fighting them both at the same time is terrible. And I found that doing this, the hand cannon does a massive amount of damage, and I always kind of got lucky with him being able to, where he fell to the ground, and I was able to stab him for extra damage. But it only took one more shot here, and I was basically able to kill him. This was the second time only that I had killed the guy, so I was very excited. The very first time I was excited, the very first time I did it, sorry, I was excited as well because I thought I did it. But it turns out that this chick still has a move that can basically insta-kill you. It took about 3,000 damage off me, and it insta-killed me the first time. I'll show the move once it's up, but at this stage I had a lot left in the slot magic and lower defense, so I used everything. And that's the move, that's the area of effect move she does with her ice. That can instant kill you, so definitely watch out for me. It killed me before here, but it's very easy for her to dodge the projectiles and everything. Once you have her 1-to-1, I think you're definitely going to do this fight. That's a rush kind of move there, so just watch out for that. But doing damage to her is very easy. She's not as hard as the other guy. So like I said, as long as you avoid that move in the area of effect and cast any remaining magic like sloth, or I was taking no chances here. I have boosted up all my health. I wasn't going to let this one fail on me here. But I think that's definitely the best strategy and tips that I can get. The hand cannon did massive damage, especially if you can use the magic to lower his defense. For me, it took 3,000 to 4,000 damage off him at a time. Along with 4 or 5 bullets at that, along with a few random hits, was enough to completely kill the other boss. And like I said, I think once you have him dead, focusing on this Ice Queen Yuki is a lot easier, as long as you can learn her basic moveset, which is only about 3 or 4 different moves, and just learn how to avoid them. Hopefully you're going to be able to pass it just like I did. So I was thrilled, and I just wanted to make this video. Obviously there's definitely going to be a lot better videos out there to show you exactly how to do it, but this is how I managed to do it kind of the first time around, and I wasn't too far off. I think it was only about level 105 here, so it wasn't too far off the actual end game and just basically completing it. I didn't need to do a lot of grinding. The only thing I did was I went to the very first few missions in New Game Plus, and I basically fought the Revenants who had the Divine Gear. They all dropped a great amount of gear for me. Rather than completing the story missions, that's all I did. I just went for the gear, fighting Revenants in the very first few New Game Plus. So I hope this video has helped you. I can definitely have some tips, and check out my other video if you want some tips on the Samurai dudes. But feel free to leave a comment, and I'll certainly be able to answer your questions. Thanks.